23 minutes after 8, today the United Firefighters Union of South Australia will gather at a funeral to pay their respects to trailblazer Adrienne Clarke, South Australia's first female firefighter who lost her battle with pancreatic cancer last week on the, almost 2 weeks ago now, on the 14th of August. We spoke about her legacy at length around that time, but now the union are turning their attention to getting these cancers that come about in the normal order of fighting fires covered in South Australia like they are in other jurisdictions like Queensland, notably. Max Adlam is the Secretary of the United Firefighters Union. Max, a sad day today, but potentially an important launching point for a campaign of yours.
Well, it is an ongoing campaign, and Adrienne was not just an inspiration but a great friend to so many of us, and she asked that we take this matter up and make public comment on the event of her passing. And she cared very much for firefighters. That was illustrated back at Easter when we celebrated her birthday, and so many people turned up, and in addressing them, she told them how she felt about them and her need to try to do something to help look after them and try to make sure that others hopefully didn't go through this.
So, Max, can you tease out the logic? Because I'm stuffed if I can work it out. So it is a matter of medical fact that firefighters suffer pancreatic cancer at higher rates than the general population, and that's as a result of their exposure to chemicals while fighting fires and so on.
Yes, that's correct.
Why
is
it, though?
Has been coming in.
Yeah. So if that is true, and it is true, why is it that when it's covered by the ACT, Western Australia, Tasmania, Queensland, and also for firefighters covered by the Commonwealth, what's the argument for not doing it here?
I don't see that there is one. And, you know, the parties all supported it through the upper house last year, and the bill expanded to include a range of cancers, including pancreatic. And we are hopeful that the Labor government will see fit to introduce a bill that will cover these cancers. We haven't heard public comment from them about why they haven't done so to date, but we remain hopeful that they will recognise that as an employer who clearly knows that this is an industrial death and these are industrial diseases, that they will provide the cover when the worst happens. We'd like to be able to get in front of it more, and we're working on some plans around that. But in the meantime, this is something that is a serious issue for our members, and it's something that Adrienne wanted to be part of ensuring changes.
Yeah, interesting and bizarre that the only party on North Terrace that doesn't support this is, at the moment, because they haven't passed the bill, the Labor Party.
It's hugely disappointing, and we continue to call on them to take this matter seriously and to care for those who care for our community.
Mm-hmm. Well, we couldn't back you any more on this, Max. Good on you. And for Adrienne, you know, from the other side of this mortal coil, still fighting the good fight, I guess.
Good on you, Max, the Secretary of the United Firefighters Union. Max,
it's just bizarre, isn't it?
Let's see what the downside of this is. There's not
so the amendments, this is old Frank Pangello, we were talking about Frank before. He introduced amendments to the bill in the Legislative Council to expand the list of cancers to 23. The amendments passed the LegCo. They were supported by Pangello, the Liberal Party, the Greens, Tammy Franks, Connie Benares and One Nation. Leaving one political party, the party of the working man, you know, party formed out of the sheep shearers' strikes and all of that. How weird.
In fact, Frank Pangello has called into the program. Morning to you, Frank.
Good morning, guys. And look, it's very disappointing that the government just hasn't moved on this. It was my bill that went through, thanks with efforts from Max and the other firefighters. And that's not the only one about that concerns first responders. There's also one there about PTSD being a presumptive illness that they've just sat on now nearly for 2 years. So they're not serious about first responders, and this is a classic case. And my condolences to that family today.
Thank you, Frank Pangello.
All right, 8223.